you want to tell me the first time you did drugs?
First time I did drugs, I would have been in about year 8 at my Catholic school. I had a mate who lived across the road with his mum, and his mum was a mad stoner, mad pothead. Like, she'd be at home all day, punching cones, watching this big flat screen TV, and back in those days, seeing a massive plasma flat screen, whatever, was crazy. So I'd just go there and smoke cones with my mate's mum and eat mee goreng noodles all day and Vegemite on toast, and then go back to school stoned as, and just be like, oh, joking, anyone can tell, like red eyes, and be like, it's kind of freaking out, but also like that feeling of like, yeah, I smell like weed, you know? So I started dabbling in like party drugs. I think I was kind of late to party drugs. It's probably like 18 or 19. But I know people that were doing pingers when we were like 14, 15. But yeah, I'd say when I was about 18, 19, I sort of, because I missed a bit of school because I was overseas. And I got back in year 12 and I missed like all the party phase of like the year 10, 11, when everyone was getting into the pingers. So I was always just a bit like, oh, I don't know what they do. I'll stick with little spliffs, maybe a few cones. But yeah, I think I was 18 and we were pre-drinking at my mate's little bar. And one of my boys just gave me a couple pills with like goats on it or sheep or something. He was like, bro, let's have one of these, you have a mad night. And I was like, all right. And then I popped it with my cousin, and then we went out to the clubs in Canberra, Civic. And yeah, I just had a mad night. I was pulling my shirt down, so I stretched my shirt. I had a lighter in my hand. I was just kept like doing that. Mad blister on my thumb. And just, I was like, whoa, that's pingers. Like, we ended up at this house to kick on, and me and my cousin, and we were just like, pingers are pretty mad. And then, yeah, that sort of started it all. That's probably very pro-drugs. I'm definitely not pro-drugs. I'm very against, but that was like, when I was like, yeah, sick. I like these. I didn't have like a problem with drugs until maybe about like 5 years ago, when like I needed cones to, like, I just felt like I needed cones. It's really just like a mental addiction of like, I wake up in the middle of the night, punch 2 cones, you know, bong next to my bed. And like throughout the day, if I didn't have weed, I'd just be like scared. I'd just be like, oh, like freaking out, you know what I mean? Like, what am I gonna do? I can't get through the day like without that. And then I guess I was just in a position where I lived kind of across the road. Well, I lived here and there was a train station in between, and then there was my dealer was on that side, and this bloke would just leave bags in a little box or a little jewelry thing or whatever on his window. And he'd be like, yeah, just sort me out, whatever. And I'd be like, all right, mad. So I'd just tick bags every 2-3 nights and just bump throughout the day, just whatever, like, because it kind of transitioned to needing to feel like I've got drugs. And as long as I've got drugs, I can get through the day. So I ended up ticking off this matey for months, bro, months. And I'm telling you, I had like a $10,000+ debt, I guess. But I was in this position where I'd be like, bro, like I'm playing a show, bro, I'm getting 5 Gs. Don't worry, I'll sort you, bro, I'm gonna just flick us a bag, bro, tick us a bag, whatever. What else you got? You got fucking Xannies, bro? Not even real Xannies, fentanyl. And then, so if he didn't have bags or if he couldn't give me what I needed, he would have something else. And then I'd be like, yeah, give me 10 of them, whatever. And I'd just eat like half a bar or quarter bar of these fake Xanax. And then at one point, I remember he was just like, he was like, bro, like, don't die on me. You know what I mean? Like, don't have more than one. And I was like, what? What do you mean? It's not real Xanax? But I'd already, like, I guess, kind of built a tolerance. So, yeah, it's all pretty, like, I wouldn't even say I was really just addicted to one drug. I think I was addicted to balancing out the day with whatever drugs, whether it was Valium, fake Xanax, fentanyl, speedy coke. That was definitely not the good stuff. And even the good stuff you can't get. And yeah, just punching cones. And I just felt like every 10 minutes I need to be doing something that's gonna keep me level. Even though I didn't need to, I just thought I did. Like, I thought it was like something I needed to sort of do. It was like feeding this hunger that would never stop. Like, I would always need something to balance. All right, I'm feeling high, I need to feel down. All right, I'm feeling down, I need to feel high. I'm feeling anxious, I need to fucking punch billies. But yeah.
And how long did that go for till you realized like there was something wrong?
Well, this is the thing, like, everyone around me started getting like scared. Like, my manager was like, bro, when I'm here, no drugs. When I'm in your house, no drugs. When you're around me, no drugs. And like, even one of my boys, like, I remember one time I was so paranoid. Like, I had one of my mates, Marty, over, and I had knives everywhere because I thought people were coming to get me. I just was convinced. I was like, people want to come here, don't worry. I've got knives everywhere, like kitchen knives. And he came over, he's like, bro, like, why is there so many knives everywhere? And I was like, bro, like, they're coming to get me, bro. And I remember his face was just a bit like, oh, fuck, like, this guy's like not all right. But in my head at the time, I was like, it was completely logical that like someone was coming to get me. And I had to get them before they got me, which just makes no sense. There was no one trying to get me, but I like camped in my house. Yeah. So I think that was when I felt like, so at the time I was like, everyone thinks I'm crazy, but they don't get it. But realistically, I was crazy. Like, I was definitely having a manic episode, but I was also in what they call psychosis, which is where you have paranoid sort of, like, I was at the point where I was hearing voices and sort of believing things that weren't even real. Like, and I would like see characters in the corner of my eye, like shadows. Like, I'm like, whoa, there's no one there. Lucky, you know, like, lucky for them, there's no one there. But it's completely just in my head. And like, I remember I'd be on my phone and I'd hear like weird sounds. Like, it's gonna sound funny, you don't even need to put this in, bro, if it's stupid, but I'd hear like that, and I'll be like, fuck, that's the devil, you know, like, that's the devil telling me to do some shit, you know, and he's communicating with me through my phone, and I've got to go do something. I don't know what it is yet, but I got to do it, like, and that's the thing, like, I don't even think I said, but I was diagnosed with bipolar when I was like 19, I think. But I probably think everyone knew something was up when I was young, because I was wild. I was always wild, but people sort of were just like, oh, like, it's just doing that for attention, or, you know, that's just a bad kid, you know. But like teachers, bro, I never got along with teachers in school, because every moment in school I just had this thing of like, how can I create chaos? You know, how can I cause some drama? So I was diagnosed with bipolar when I was 19, but I didn't know what that meant. You know what I mean? Like the funniest thing is it's like you hear bipolar and you're like, whoa, crazy. But me, I was like, I don't even know what that means. Like I don't, like it's just a label that I'll tell people, everyone around me, I'll be like, oh yeah, bro, I'm bipolar, whatever that means. Like, and I knew that I had to take medication, mood stabilizers. And I took them for a couple years. And then I was just like, why do I even take these? I didn't even need these, like, because I didn't know what happens if you don't. And I didn't know how dangerous that, like, that this mental illness can be. It can be very dangerous if unmedicated and just if you don't know what the fuck it is. And I didn't. I just thought it was like a badge of honor. It's like, yeah, I'm bipolar. And people were like, oh, true. And then I didn't know the consequences. But so when I was in Sydney and when I was abusing drugs and just like needed whatever I could get, and it was just a constant like binge. I was just binging drugs constantly. I didn't know that I was in a manic episode, and then which means I was just like not sleeping, not eating, just doing whatever, just fueling with drugs. And then the drugs cause a drug-induced psychosis, which is what it's called. And the psychosis is when you hear, like you have schizophrenic symptoms. So yeah, like I ended up, hearing all these voices, thinking the devil was telling me to do shit. And even like thinking God was telling me to do shit, and just all this crazy shit, bro.
And how long did that psychosis like last for?
So I was in Sydney. I racked up this massive drug debt. I racked up a massive, I wasn't even paying rent, bro. I was living with Freddie Krabs and Beaker Best from Sticky Fingers. And they were watching me fuck out, but they were like kind of scared, I guess. Like I remember them kind of being like, oh, like, hey bro, like couldn't talk to me. And like, bro, I still owe like Krabsy, you know, at least $4,000 rent, bro. Because at that time in Sydney, I just wasn't paying it. I was just drugs, whatever. So yeah, I ended up coming back to Canberra from Sydney to Canberra because there was just too much going on. As I said, I had a massive drug debt, owed heaps in rent, and I just was like, I ran away, bro. I legged it. I was like, fuck this, doesn't exist. My problems don't exist. Come back to Canberra. I'm still abusing drugs. I had like fans messaging me, bro, let's get on it, let's kick on, let's have a sesh, let's fucking da-da-da. And I'll be like, yeah, bring the bags, bring the drugs, bring this, yeah. I'm staying here. I was staying at multiple chicks' houses and just like stoner chicks, smoking their weed and just being a bummy ass fucking bloke. And then, yeah, I just have like strangers over bringing drugs and just binging and whatever, like just in weird situations, going to strangers' houses. I say strangers, like they were fans, and a lot of them were good people. But yeah, I just didn't know that it was like they were hanging out with me and that was cool for them, but it was also enabling my like my addictions, and also like helping me run away still, if that makes sense. So yeah, probably like 3-4 months. I honestly don't remember like how long I was crazy for, because it's like, it's still kind of flashy. Like it's still like, oh, that part's blurry. I remember that part, don't remember that part. I remember, yeah. So I ended up in a situation where I was having, I basically got arrested, naked, butt naked, engaging in a bit of a drama between some people that I wasn't friends with. And yeah, so I got arrested, and then they took me to this, like a padded room thing, because they just thought I was a full junkie, like crackhead. You know, nothing against crackheads, but they thought I was like just smoking ice, and like I fit that description. So yeah, I chilled in this padded, like almost like a padded cell thing, for 3 days, I think, 3 days. And my mum came and visited, my cousin came and visited. But in my head at the time, I was like laughing. I was like, why am I even here? You know, like what's going on? Like, it was just like a movie or a game to me or something, you know, like it just wasn't, it wasn't real. And then so from there, they took me in an ambulance to the psych ward, because that wasn't even the psych ward. That was like a detox thing where they'd feed me, and because I was so skinny, bro, I was like 63 kilos or something. And then, yeah, so they took me to the psych ward, which is like, it's called AMU. It's like a big hall thing with all these wings where you stay. And they just dropped me off there, and I remember I didn't know what was going on. They just dropped me here and then didn't say anything. And there's just like people in the clothes, like in the sort of white and blue, whatever you call it, the uniform. Just walking around kind of like, oh, like this. There's people yelling and screaming, and but everyone's like heavily medicated, you know? So I got there and I was like, why am I here? Like, well, no one's telling me anything. And I had a bit of a moment where I was like, I think I called my mum. I was like, what? Why am I here? And my mum was like upset and real sad. And was like telling me I need to be there. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand, because I was still in this like, no, I gotta go do shit. Like, whatever I gotta do. So yeah, I kind of raged it. I think it's the correct term to call it. I pulled the phone out of the wall and like threw it at the glass thing with all the people behind it. And I was like punching it and being like, let me out. I'm not meant to be here. Ah! I was clearly meant to be there. And then I just remember like 5, 6 dudes tackling me and pulling my pants down. And I was like, what the fuck what are you doing? I was thinking the worst, because I was crazy. I was like, whoa, this is happening. Like, this is bad. And then they injected me with a needle, and then I was out for like a day or two. And then for like the first week, that kept happening because I didn't know what was going on. So I wake up in this fucking room with like, on this hard bed, nothing in the room. People, they walk past your room hourly and check, like either with a torch or whatever. So there's no privacy. But I'd wake up and be like, no one's giving me answers. No one's telling me why I'm here. Like this, what the hell? And then I'll kind of like rage it again, if that makes sense. Tackled again, needle in the bum. And just, yeah, I guess after like a couple weeks, I became very like zombie, because every morning and maybe every night, I think every morning and every night, they make you take the little cup of all the tablets. And bro, I was taking like 10 tablets of medication, different ones, bro. Like, and I just didn't know what I was taking. And I was like, whatever, I got to get out of here, whatever it takes. But yeah, after like a month or something, I started coming back down to reality and just being like, all right. I went crazy. I was full hearing things. Like they thought I was a schizophrenic when they took me there. they thought that straight away. They're like, we thought you were a schizophrenic, but I have bipolar. But it's called schizoaffective disorder, which means when you go into these psychoses, you're pretty much a full-blown schizophrenic person with all that going on. So I was there for nearly 3 months. Nearly 3 months, I think. And then I got out and I lived with my mum, moved back in with my mum. And life was just weird because people knew that like like just people, you know, I don't even know how to explain it. Like my team didn't look at me the same because when I was crazy, I was accusing everyone of like stealing my money, manipulating me, doing other shit, you know what I mean? Like sleeping with my missus and just all this crazy shit. Because in my head it was real, but in reality it's just made up. But when you're in that headspace, you just believe it. So I get out, I'm chilling, I'm living at my mum's house, I'm on Centrelink, I'm not doing anything, I'm not doing shows, I'm just trying to get back to, like I couldn't even hold a conversation. I was trying to get back to like being able to talk, but I'd sit there and if we were talking, I'd forget what I was thinking because I was on a court order to get injections every 2 weeks. So I'd forget what I was thinking and I wasn't allowed to do drugs, smoke weed, bender, nothing. And then I was just like, I was really depressed, I guess. I blew up, I gained so much weight, bro. I gained like 30 kilos or something because the meds that they put you on, the antipsychotics and the mood stabilizers, they kill your metabolism. So you're always hungry and your body's not using the food as like fuel. It's just like, yeah. So I was depressed about that because I was like, bro, like I was trying to, my cousin was taking me to the gym and I'll get there, do one set and be like, bro, I've got to go, bro. Like, this is not for me. So yeah, I ended up just being like, fuck it. Call my boy up, bro. I need some buds. Like just some weed. My boy hooked me up with strains, you know what I mean? And like oil, THC cartridges. And then I started smoking weed again. Started smoking weed, seeing girls like, you know, in the sex work industry, I guess, that I knew from before, and just bendering and like kind of staying with them and just like floating around again on some nomad shit. And then, yeah, I just ended up doing it again, just frying it completely. No meds and just, so I was like, I don't need my meds. I got weed. And yeah, I ended up like, I freaked my mum out because I was doing the same crazy shit. My mum sent me, like, was just like, go to your dad's house. And like, I'm a grown man, bro, you know what I mean? So go to your dad's house. So I'll go to my dad's house like at like midnight, banging on the door, like trying to punch on and shit, like just like calling him outside. It was just crazy, bro. Scaring my little sisters. And then they end up taking me to the hospital and saying like, he's bipolar, he's bad again. He's got to go back to the psych ward. He's got to go to the mental hospital or whatever. And then so I went there again for another maybe like 6 weeks or 2 months. Everybody sort of disowned me after that, except for my mum. Like everybody was kind of just, like, first of all, I was lucky to come out of the first psychosis because some people go into psychosis and they never come out. They stay hearing voices, thinking people are trying to get them and all this shit. So yeah, I come out the second time and like, I wasn't even gonna like, even my mom was like, I don't know if you can live with me. Like, you're gonna keep doing this. You're gonna keep doing drugs. You're gonna keep, like, just going down the path you're going down, you know? And then I remember I like broke down, bro. I was like, I can't do this again. Like, because I saw how hurt my mum was. And I noticed that everyone was like, whoa, he's cooked. Like, this dude's a liability. You know what I mean? Everyone just looked at me like people, friends, my brothers, like, everyone just lost hope in me. Like, everyone's like, nah. So when I finally, as I said, after maybe 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks in the psych ward for the second time with all the meds, I started thinking clearly again. And I started being like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm so lucky to get out of that, you know what I mean? So, like, why would I want to do that again? And also the rebuild, like the upward battle is so hectic because I was on court orders both times because I was a danger to society. Court orders to get needles in my bum every fortnight, which would just make me a zombie. Like, but so that I wouldn't be thinking crazy shit and believing it. But I ended up just realizing, like, all right, I can't do this again. Like, I can't. Like, why do I think I need to party and do drugs? And like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, what am I running from? You know what I mean? Just sort of, what am I trying to put a Band-Aid on? So my mum, she let me come and live with her again. Because she trusted me, because I just said, I was like, Mum, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing it. I'm done with this. Whatever this shit is, whatever this cycle that I'm in is right now, fuck that. Because in my head, I made a promise, like, or I cut a deal with myself. And I said, if I ever come back to this fucking shithole ever again, and need these needles where I can't think, I can't couldn't even sleep, bro. If I ever do this again, if I ever end up here again, I'm done. I'm not doing it again. And I got so much to achieve before I check out of life that I can't risk that. I can't risk going back, because at the same time, I can't go on this rebuilding journey again of like, fixing my life, sorting my shit out. I can't do this again because it takes so much, bro. So, yeah.
During that time, you were going through drugs, psychosis. You've done a few things on social media, targeting certain Western Sydney artists.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a bit about like where your mind frame was then,
sure.
and how you feel about that now?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, when I was going through this headspace or this psychosis, I got caught up in this thought where, I don't even know how to say this, like, without it sounding too dark, but I didn't want to live having to be hearing this shit, seeing this shit, thinking if I'm hearing music that it's God telling me to go and do shit. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I'll be driving, seeing number plates and think that like Y27KJ is like telling me coordinates of like where I gotta go and like just like crazy shit. And I was sick of it at the same time. I was doing it, but I was sick of it. And I had this feeling where I was like, I don't want to live. I don't want to be alive, but I can't I can't change that myself. So I came up with this plan, and I go, all right, I already owe my mum mad money. Like, I've put her in debt through bad contracts, just music, drama shit, you know what I mean? I owe my mum a lot of money, and I've hurt her for her having to see me go through this shit. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna get killed, which sounds stupid, but I just came up with this plan. I was like, mad, I'm gonna start beef with people that don't fuck around. That way, you know, if I get shot or stabbed or something, I'll go out in style, which is fucked. Like, that's so, I'm not like thinking this is mad now, but at the time when I was crazy, I was like, that's way better than doing what I want to do, you know? So that's how I'm gonna, because when I'm gone, the music will probably pump, you know what I mean? Like, it's dark, bro. But I was like, the music will pump, I'll pay my mum back, recoup my advance with the label, this and that. Like, it made sense to me. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go at people in this game that know people and that don't fuck around, because that's my best option. And it's the most memorable way to go out, I guess. And that, yeah. So that headspace that I was in is real fucked up, like real bad, because there's no logic behind it. It was purely crazy thinking. It was pure psychosis. And I, you know, like just some just darkness of like, I got nothing to live for. Like, that's how I felt. I was like, I got nothing to live for. I'm always gonna have these, you know, be like thinking there's fucking, you know, shadow people and shit. Like, bro, just, I just thought that was my only way out. And it came off very, very ugly, very bad. It started a lot of dramas, even like, you know, within friends and family. And yeah, it put not only me, but other people at risk, in danger. It just caused a lot of drama that I wish I never did. And I wish that I had the epiphany that I had afterwards, if that makes sense. There's no point in thinking like that, but like, I wish that I didn't have to fuck up to learn from my mistakes. I wish I could just be like that wise, have that wisdom of like not having to fuck up to learn, not even from mistakes, but just not have to make mistakes. But yeah, so I created a lot of drama. I made a lot of enemies that like are real, you know what I mean? Like, just people that you don't need to be enemies with, you know what I mean? And that puts, just creates unnecessary friction and tension. And it still to this day affects me and sort of, you know, people in my life.
What do you think, like, out of everything you've sort of been through, like, your biggest life lesson is?
I think the biggest lesson I've learned is just like question why you are how you are. You know what I mean? Because if you're rolling around not knowing who you are, then you're gonna not know what the fuck you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, chances are you're gonna fuck up. So yeah, the biggest life lesson is just like know why you are how you are. And if you don't, figure it out. I had to, and I just, helps. So from here, I guess, and I've kind of been on this journey of sort of mending the bridges that I burnt. it's not easy to mend every bridge, you know, but the ones that matter, I hope that I'm doing a good job mending those bridges. In terms of like trajectory and music and whatnot, I feel the need to redeem myself musically and creatively, because like, yeah, I was doing good at one point. I was doing good. You know, I had a lot of positivity in my life that I definitely miss. So I want to redeem myself creatively, because I feel like I've done that spiritually, however that funny that sounds. Yeah, I just want to reestablish myself and just like take myself seriously now, because honestly, I never did. Like, this whole journey up until now has always just been like going with it. I'm just going with it. Like, whatever happens, is what it is. But now it's about like, nah, this is my life. I don't want to bloody lay bricks or bloody scaffold and shit, whatever the fuck. I know my calling. I know what I have to do. Like, this music shit, it plagues me, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I tried to quit. Like, I actually tried to quit music. But I was reminded by people close to me and people whose opinions I respect that, like, this is what I was born to do, you know? This is what I'm good at, and this is, what I'm supposed to be doing. So yeah, from here, hopefully just upward trajectory, bro.